it is an honor for me to participate this year in La Frontera International Piano Conference. For that I would like to thank the organizers and especially Juan Pablo Andrade. The music of Ravel represents for me as a composer many traits that are related to the perception of time. For example, a time that it is really unstoppable, and the idea that time could not flow when the music is really well written. Also, Ravel have a clear understanding of what history is. For example, he depicted the negative side of French colonies in Chanson Madécasse. Also, the craftsmanship, the workmanship that lies behind his musical scores are incredible. I would say that the music of Ravel has timeless moments, for example in the use of natural harmonics, in the use of stratified musical thinking. For example, a certain harmonic that are written to perceive as a harmonic stasis. The static blocks of music. Certainly elegance, above all elegance, but elegance not for itself, elegance in the written, elegance in a solution, elegance in the deployment of colors, and the elegance in the acceptance of taking risk, to go out of the comfort zone as a composer. This speaks for itself. Every page of Ravel's music has behind a lot of work, a lot of calculation, a deliberated unfolding of musical data. This will be an incomplete, of course urgent, innocent journey to some scores that Maurice Ravel wrote. I can hear Chanson Madécasse in the same way as I read the dark side of French colonies. I can hear Pavane pour un enfant de femme as an elegance, but a layered music with a precise control, with a deliberate and calculate unfold of musical structures. I can, of course, it could be a mistake, but for me as a composer, I see in Trois Poèmes de Stéphane Mallarmé the same things that I can hear in the Pierrot Lunaire written by Arnold Schoenberg, and goes beyond the idea of a chord as an identity. These chords, for example, when the bass clarinet enters, we can hear a chord as a spectral unit, in the sense that is a new color that relates almost in a symmetrical fashion to registers in his music. The end of the 19th century is a window open to new possibilities. As one became aware of French music, it's possible to discover two supernovas, I think. First one is the music written in Notre Dame. Ars Antiqua, Ars Nova, and the composers were Leoninus and Perotinus. And the other side, at the end of the 19th century, in Paris also, Debussy discover a new form, a new thinking, a new approach to the form of music. In 1895, Maurice Ravel created Sitz auriculaire for two pianos. And the ideas behind this music are many. For example, the pedal point in the habanera is an idea of an aesthetic trait in contemporary music. A more elaborated, refined, and elegant pedal point was written by Ravel in Gaspard de la Nuit, Ondine. It's a complex chord articulated in a virtuosic way for piano. And the color, the resonance in the piano, the use of particular register are, of course, traits of the 20th century music. Three composers changed the history of music at the beginning of the 20th century. Claude Debussy, Arnold Schoenberg, and Igor Stravinsky. And a fourth composer understood these achievements in a different way. I think, and I believe, that Maurice Ravel gave flesh to this music, gave a tactile pleasure to this music. Ravel understood, as Edgar Allan Poe, the process of composition as a deliberate, calculated, and logical process. And logic is another way of control the sensuality of music. I think that Ravel organized the music, calculated the unfolding of precise pleasure point across a piece. The conception of the music in Ravel point of view is the color. The color as a way to convey a sensual perception of otherwise harsh sonorities. He understood polyphony as, I think, more in the sense of the spectral school in the 70s in France. Or he gave, as I said before, flesh to this harshness of Stravinsky in Sacre du Prato. I do not want to undermine this music, because the greatness of Stravinsky is to use polytonality not as a way of give new life to an old tonality. Tonality was, I think, dead at this precise moment, and Stravinsky used the collision of two chords as a way to create in the spectrum a new sound. And with this incredible use of rhythm, he also introduced the idea of an unstoppable time. This enormous energy in the first and last numbers of Sacre du Prato were understood by Ravel as a contradiction in terms, I think. In technical view, Bolero is an unstoppable time, but in another point of view, it's aesthetic. It's the same rhythm again and again and again, but the change is color. A calculation of the pleasure in the hearing of colors. That's a very complex idea. I can remember very, very modern work for orchestra, A Machine to Kill Clowns. I can't remember, sorry, the composer. The use of Giacinto Scelsi in these 4 pieces, each one for one sound. Ravel took some of the things, and in the light of his piano music, I can think that new music nowadays, for example, is been to orchestral music, and other composers also understood that music must have ideas, first of all, and the processes must be hearable. When it's important that realize that the process must be followed using the ear. I believe that some of the avant-garde music in the 60s or 70s are guilty because they these composers create paper music in the sense that this music is so chaotic for the hearing that lost the audiences. We must recover the audiences. Please, this must very important, not using tonality, not using consonants and exotism or folk music or minimalism, in the sense of Ravel, clarity of form. Ravel understood the complexities of Debussy, Stravinsky and Schoenberg and give them clarity in the form. For some people is going backwards, but I think nowadays it's important to consider that pleasure and structure go hand by hand. The beauty and a very well crafted form, very well calculated form, unfolding points of pleasure in music like Ravel's music that we can hear in Le Tombeau de Couperin, Jodot, Gaspard de la Nuit, frontispiece are evident. I suggest that we can make a fantastic experience when hearing the piano music of Ravel and imagine the paintings, the portraits and nudes of Amedeo Modigliani. Corrado Pavolini wrote a very useful statement regarding to this experience. It is, he wrote, it is an absence, it is a renunciation of any rapport between different objects in favor of an overall concept. When we see a painting, for example, the Enfant de Gras, it's a very young woman, but the face in the foreground, of course, is geometrically painted. It's more important, the clearness of the form and the quality of the textures. If we zoom in and zoom out in different parts of the canvas, we can enjoy the texture by itself. We can enjoy the rhythms in the forms. It's not important, the problems, the psychology of this woman that could weight down the experience. In this sense, when we hear the piano music of Maurice Ravel, that Sonatine, Gaspard de la Nuit, Frontispice, Jodot, it's possible to enjoy moments of texture by itself, just hearing the texture. And when the music changes, creating an articulation in form, sometimes in the foreground is the texture, not the form. So I always enjoy this fantastic relationship between the paintings of Amedeo Modigliani and the piano creations of Maurice Ravel.